our special edition of Women's History Month presentation. Today, we are going to learn about Broadway, what Broadway is, the history of Broadway, and women who helped pave the way as fabulous performers on Broadway. Can I please get a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Thumbs up if you can see my screen. Awesome. Thank you so much, friends. All right, friends. So some of you may have heard of Broadway before, but some of you have no idea what I'm talking about, especially my friends in maybe kindergarten or first grade. So Broadway, maybe you recognize some of these images here on the screen. Broadway is located in New York City. Let's see how we would get there if we were to drive from Charlotte. Wow, you see down here on the screen? On the bottom, you see Charlotte with those little yellow construction guys or gals. If we were to leave right now and drive to New York, we wouldn't get there until tomorrow. So it's a long ways away. If you get on an airplane, it takes about 2 hours. But if you were to drive there, it would take longer than a day in school. So let's dive right into the history of Broadway. Broadway was originally called the Great White Way. Well, why was it called the Great White Way? It's because it had a lot of bright lights. Broadway's origins date back to about 1750 when the first theater opened on what was then Nassau Street in Manhattan. Manhattan is just another word for the island of New York City. The theater district was one of the first streets in New York to be fully illuminated by white electric bulbs because, friends, the electric light bulb had recently been invented at that point. So it was the first street that was fully illuminated by these new things called light bulbs, thus giving rise to the nickname, the Great White Way. Ever since 1910, the Broadway signage was illuminated with incandescent bulbs as architects or people that make buildings, design buildings, realized that advertising potential of dazzling lights, hence adding to the lights of the streets. I know, friends, a lot of you are familiar with what advertising is because you're in the age of YouTube. Every time you turn on a YouTube video, there's an ad, right? I know a lot of you know how to skip those ads, but people back then realized this was a great way to share a message. Fun fact, when the lights of Broadway were dimmed during World War I, public demand forced the government to increase the city's coal rotation to restore the lights. Now, friends, we're going to take a quick look inside a theater, right? This is where the show happens. A lot of times you visit a theater in New York City or even a local theater like the Blumenthal Performing Arts Center in Uptown Charlotte. Everything is really fancy seats, velvet seats, gold all over the walls, beautiful paintings, and really fancy scrolls. So this is a traditional New York City theater. If you were to step inside, this is what you would see. And my favorite part of the theater, the red curtain. Some of you Dolphins who've been to Smithfield and maybe 2 years ago remember that in our gym, we have a stage and we have a curtain that can open and close to start a show. All right, so some more facts about Broadway. Broadway by the numbers. Andrew Lloyd Webber's iconic Phantom of the Opera is still the longest running Broadway show of all time. It recently, last year, surpassed an incredible 12,500 performances. Since 1975, the list of other shows with long show runs on Broadway include A Chorus Line, O Calcutta, Les Miserables, Chicago, Rent, my favorite, Mamma Mia, The Beauty and the Beast, Cats, and The Lion King. The Lion King is the highest grossing Broadway show of all time. That means it makes a lot of money because all the families go and see Lion King with their children, just like you. Altogether, there are 40 Broadway theaters. Despite the title, though, only 4 theaters are actually located on the Broadway street called Broadway. Most of them are in that area, but only 4 are actually on Broadway. In order to qualify for Broadway theater status, a theater must have 500 seats, and it has to be located between 40th Street to 54th Street, the area in Manhattan. There were 12.4 million tickets sold for Broadway shows in 2012. The Jersey Boys has won 4 Tony Awards. That's kind of like key cards, only for Broadway performers. They give Tony Awards to people who are really good at what they do on Broadway. And the average Broadway ticket sale is 95 buckaroos, which is not cheap. But a lot of shows on Broadway do community outreach so that they can reach people, they can reach audiences that can't necessarily pay a lot of money to go see their shows. So now, friends, we're going to segue into our Women's History Month portion of today's program. You may have heard of the musical Waitress, which premiered on March 25th, 2016. Wow, we're coming up on the anniversary tomorrow. It's the first musical to feature an all-female creative team. That means they were all about the girl power. Music and lyrics were written by Sarah Bareilles. Book was written by Jessie Nelson. That's the lines that they say, the script that they read. And choreography, or the dance moves, were choreographed by Lauren Lataro. The show was directed by Diane Paulus, and the top 4 creative jobs were done by women, including costume design, musical direction, all handled by an all-women creative team. I'm gonna skip that video.
Hi, this is Miss Jessica. Be sure to
subscribe. But I really want to share with you this book, okay? I'm going to quickly switch my screen share over to my Ladybug, so that you can see my book that I'm going to read to you today. Let's see. Okay, friends, if you have a good view of my book and my hand, give me a thumbs up so I know you can see it. Yay! I can never get these things perfectly straight, so I'm going to try my best as I read to you the book. There we go. A is for Audra, Broadway's leading ladies from A to Z. Ooh, this is where we could get some autographs. That would be fun. A is for Audra, who awes and amazes with each line and note. All the critics sing praises. Dolphins, are you noticing something about the words in this book? Here's some rhyming words too. Audra McDonald is playing Billie Holiday. This was representing her in 2014. B is for Barbara and Barbara too, both versatile vocalists equal by few. Here on my left, this is Barbara Streisand. You cannot mistake that silhouette, playing Funny Girl in 1964. And here we have Barbara Cook as Marion Peru in The Music Man, dating 1957. C's for Christine's crystal clear intonations, for which she's won Tonys and standing ovations. Standing ovations are what the crowd does at the end of the show if they want to greatly thank the performer. They stand up, the whole theater stands up if they're just that fabulous. This is Christine Ebersole as Little Eddie Beale in Grey Gardens in 2006. D is for Dolly the Devious Dame, played by Carol, Pearl, and Betty. Too many to name. And this, my friends, is from Hello Dolly in 1964, 1967, and 2017. I love their costumes. Isn't that fun? I would love to wear something like that. Or I might wear something like that. E is for Elaine, whose delivery delights and who often performed, but wearing little but tights in her dance tights. F is for Fossy, whose dazzling dancing made these triplet threats feisty, fierce, and entrancing. Miss Fernandez might have mentioned to you jazz hands, right? Can you show me your jazz hands, dolphins? Yeah. And this here is from Chicago. Such a fabulous show. G is for Gertrude, whose greatest success was a king teaching tutor who dressed to impress. From The King and I in 1951. H is the heavenly Miss Headler Headley, whose turn as Aida was daring and deadly. Heather Headley as Aida in 2000. I was lucky enough to see the original Broadway cast of Aida when I lived in New York when I was little. I was your age. I got to see this person in real life. My favorite. It's for Idina, whose vocals you'll know from Wicked or Rent or from Let It Go, Let It Go, Can't Hold It Back Anymore. The same woman who played Elphaba in Wicked on Broadway is the same voice as your favorite Disney character, Elsa. J is for Julie's sweet, silvery soprano, as bright as a bell and pure as a piano. This is Julie Andrews in My Fair Lady in 1956. K is for Kristen, whose range stupefies, in spite of her small, less than 5 foot tall size. Kristen Chenoweth, 2015. L is for Leah, the voice of Mulan, who broke Broadway hearts as the first Miss Saigon. M's Mary Martin, whose vibrance and verve gave Peter his pluck and Maria her nerve. Peter Pan. N's for Nell Carter, who had Broadway raving when she crooned Fat Swaller in Ain't Misbehavin'. O's the outstanding Miss Kelly O'Hara as Nellie Francesca, Mrs. Anna, or Clara. This book is a little bit of a tongue twister, friends. P is for Patty, whose belt's big and brassy, made Eva so mighty and Reno so sassy. Patty LuPont as Eva Perron in Evita, 1979. Q is for Broadway's unquestionable queen, a glamorous goddess on stage and on screen. She's brilliant and bold and has talent in meters. Ladies and gentlemen, Bernadette Peters. Friends, can you still hear me? Okay, good. I had a few friends looking like they were confused, so I just want to make sure. R is for Rose, Broadway's maddest of mothers, in show-stopping turns by Miss Merman and others. That's a lot of girls. S is for Sutton, whose singing and tapping keeps spectators chanting and cheering and clapping. Sutton Foster in 2002. It's also for Sondheim, who wrote these plum parts for women with substance, with strength, and with smarts. Here we have stars from Into the Woods, Passion, Follies, A Little Night Music, and Sweeney Todd. T is for Tanya, whose titanic range include Jellies, Last Jam, and Caroline or Change. U's for Miss Oogamums, whose charm is contagious each time she busts out on the Great White Way's stages. See, we see that phrase again there, friends, the Great White Way. V is for Victoria, whose voice operatic makes any score soar, whether light or dramatic. W's the wondrous Miss Lilia's White, whose riffs, runs, and scadaboop bop beep sound so wonderfully right. These divas are dynamos, and you should know them. But didn't fit anywhere else in this poem. So here are some extra exceptional names of exalted, exciting, and excellent dames. You know who's last. If you don't, take a guess. Z is for Liza, with a Z, not an S. The one and only Liza Minnelli. Here, friends, in the back is just a little synopsis, a little bio on each of these amazing leading ladies on Broadway. And if you are at Smithfield and you want to come take a look at this book, I'd be happy to share it with you. Or maybe Miss Solar can find out if it's on Sora or something like that. But we can get this book in your hands if you want to learn more about these leading ladies. Friends, you've been really good listeners, and we've been sitting down for 17 minutes. So in true Smithfield fashion, we're going to end our time together today with a little movement. What do you say? If I can find what I need, let me put it back to, there we go. I found this video and I thought we might get a kick out of it. So if you're home, feel free to get up and move with me. I need to share my screen one more time. Friends, I have recorded today's program. I'm going to put it up on YouTube if I can do that, because I know that some friends were not able to join us today, but they might be interested in watching back. So if any of your siblings or friends or classmates would like to watch this, I'm going to send out the recording of it. All right, friends, here we go.
Hi, this is Miss Jessica. Be sure to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. When you do that, you help my channel grow. Also, enjoy the video. Women are history makers, movers and shakers. You can't mistake their impact on our lives. Women are history makers, movers and shakers. Groundbreakers, time to recognize. Time to recognize. Okay, I have a word for you. Suffrage, S-U-F-F-R-A-G-E, means the right to vote. Hundreds of years in our country, women were told no, and that they should stay silent when it came to how our country was run. Not until 1920 did they change the Constitution. Sojourner Truth and Susan B. Anthony, yes to women's rights and no to slavery. All of the suffragettes were an example of bravery. For years they organized, their power grew and grew, and women got that right to vote. So you know it's true that women are history makers, movers and shakers. You can't mistake their impact on our lives. Women are history makers, movers and shakers. Groundbreakers, time to recognize. Time to recognize. Okay, here's another word. Equal, E-Q-U-A-L, as great as, to the same degree. Ruth Bader Ginsburg fought for gender equality. This amazing lawyer was a justice on the Court Supreme with a really cool nickname, the Notorious RBG. Women all around us to support civil liberties see what's out of balance in our laws and our communities. Then they jump into action and use their words to create unity. Their passion stirs inside, all can rejoice. The greatest tool of a woman is her voice. Women are history makers, movers movers and shakers. You can't mistake their impact on our lives. Women are history makers, movers and shakers, groundbreakers. Time to recognize. Time to recognize. All right, check this one. Global, Global, means the world entirely. Women all around the globe are also making history. Like Greta Thunberg, who is Swedish, and at age 15, made the world see that we have to keep our earth healthy. Keep on learning other names, one thing is a guarantee. Women near and far and everywhere are making history. And they inspire us to become all that we can be. It feels so good to shout it out. There is no doubt that women are what? Women are history makers, movers and shakers. You can't mistake their impact on our lives. Women are history makers, movers and shakers, groundbreakers. Time to recognize. Time to recognize. All right, one more. Vital, Vital, means necessary in our lives. Without women, there'd be no you or me. They're why we're alive. Moms, grandmas, guardians, aunts, sisters, cousins, friends, too. Shout out to all the great women all around you. They could be scientists, farmers, CEOs, architects, bankers, technicians, teachers, artists, doctors, nurses, engineers, coders, politicians. Let your gratitude for all they do. Great women of the world, we thank you. Women are history makers, movers and shakers. You can't mistake their impact on our lives. Women are history makers, movers and shakers, groundbreakers. Yeah, women are history makers, movers and shakers. You can't mistake their impact on our lives. Women are history makers, movers and shakers, groundbreakers. Time to recognize. Now we recognize.
Yay, thank you so much for joining me today, Dolphins. I hope you learned a little bit about Broadway and the women who made it possible for us to continue to perform. Hopefully here in the next year or so, we will see some live performances coming back to stages near and far. All right, friends, we'll see you tomorrow either on your full remote Academy Zooms or in person at Smithfield. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. I love you all so much, and I will see you soon.